I've come from Dundee to Edinburgh this evening. You might have seen my talk earlier when I talked about geo-socialising, and one of the things was pub meetup. So it's about an hour and 20 minutes, hour and a half on the train to get here, which is a bit far to consider it a local meetup. But no, it's worth it. Sometimes I try and have something to do in Edinburgh or some work during the day, so I end up here. But the OpenStreetMap Edinburgh group is very casual. There's a small signal group where they share text messages, and I'm part of that. Sometimes they remember more than a week in advance that we haven't had a meetup for a while, and actually put it on the OSM calendar. I'm not sure if this February one is on there. But we decided the Guildford Arms, it's close to Waverley Station, the main train station, which is good for everyone. So I'm a bit early, it's just turning 7 o'clock now, but I'll go there to the Guildford Arms and find a table. I'll put my high-vis jacket there in case there's anyone just looking for mappers for something that says OpenStreetMap and doesn't recognise me. But I think the others are coming on some later trains or possibly cycling in. And there's no agenda, there's absolutely nothing there. I think there's at least 4 of us will be there is the plan, and we'll chat about OpenStreetMap and see what gets discussed. I don't know if I'll put my camera on for any of that, but I'll give you a recap at the end of the night on what we discussed, maybe, if I remember. I'm on the late train back to Dundee. Had a great time at the pub. There were 6 of us there, which is actually a really good turnout for OpenStreetMap Edinburgh, because it just takes a few people to create a pub meetup, and there were a number of us there. I kept some notes on the topics we discussed. So one thing was I talked about
the next stop is Buchers.
So one thing was I talked about the UK Quarterly project, because I'm making a video about that. It's about OSM notes. More of that in the video when I make it. But that spurred people to talk about a couple of users that had a lot of notes. So there's one that's the UK High Street. I thought it was a really focused OpenStreetMap user that monitors these shop changes. Turns out it's actually the name of a website that aggregates shops and products for sale with a bit of affiliate. I've just had a look at the website, not that exciting, but that explains where the notes are coming from, which will make the video I'm making slightly inaccurate. Also, classic user, so every time there's a planning application in Edinburgh, apparently an OSM note goes in by a certain user, even if there's not going to be any on-the-ground change for maybe a couple of years, no breaking the ground. So there was some comments. What else did we talk about? There was a bit of chat about building equals yes. Is it even a value? Well, it's a way to add a building, and it's at least adds the outline. Someone can then decide to add more information, like building equals residential or commercial. Bit of discussion on that. I'm just going to go through these topics because really it's a light-hearted conversation we talk about, and it shares some information that's already out there in some of my videos or other information and on the wiki. There was also a topic about the Gulf of Mexico, Gulf of America. Not sure what it is, but on OpenStreetMap it's edited well. The actual data there says the name in multiple languages, and the data includes the official name. There's been lots of discussion on that. Apparently there was a really good article went out which had some OpenStreetMap information, Chris knew about that. He didn't say where it was. Maybe he'll tell us. There was also chat about how the data working group manages those kind of bits of locations where there's going to be a lot of changes. People think the map should be updated in a certain way without understanding the nuances and the full discussion that's gone on. And we talked a bit about there's even rate limiting in OpenStreetMap now. If you're a new user, you can't make thousands of edits in your first hour. It'll stop you, but even if you're part of an event where you're doing lots of editing, the limit's quite high and it would be weird to reach them straight away. Yes, keep having to flick back to my notes there. And there was some interesting talk about how we do good reporting about OpenStreetMap rather than just Google Maps gets a press release sent and media outlets will do it. Seems like the communications group do a lot of work, but they also get some interesting inquiries or press releases sent to themselves. Again, Chris does a lot of interesting work in that. It'd be great, it's always great to hear about the communications working group. They do often give talks at conferences about what they do. There was some talk about how do you edit buildings quickly, and we discussed some tools depending what editor you've used. I think there's a really cool quick building tool in JOSM where you just click the points. I think you have to press Q first or something. You really have to see it. So in the pub we've not got our laptops open to do that, but people discuss, I do use this. Maybe some people get it, some people don't, but it is worth trying if you haven't tried. And there was also an interesting chat about so we know of open plaques, I think it's called, those plaques on houses, so and so lived here, something
We are
historic
now
happened.
approaching Buchers. Please mind the gap when alighting from this train.
Not the best place to make a video. Anyway, the open plaque site is really cool for adding that, but you can also add photos, which gives the full information, and the inscription. People comment and often give more information. Likewise, there's open benches that does the same. And the locations might be an OpenStreetMap, but with open benches you get the full photos of the bench, the little plaque on it, and the view from the bench. But also people can comment and tag that this is maybe it's damaged or it can't be read, and that can help people find ones to repair. Someone asked, is there anything like that for information boards? So I think that would be really good.
This is Buchers. This train is for Dundee. The next stop is Dundee.
I'm almost home, so I'll wrap up my notes. But I think that would be really good. Those information boards, a historic monument, or just wildlife. Sometimes a map of the nature reserve or the park you're in. I love mapping those, putting those in an OpenStreetMap. I think the location of where they are is really helpful for people that want to see if they still exist, if they maintain, or maybe if your area doesn't have any, then you can check that on OpenStreetMap and campaign to have more. But I don't think there's a site where you can upload pictures of them or report that they're damaged, whether through weather, like sun bleaching the sign, or graffiti. Maybe there is, and I don't know. Someone might tell me, or maybe it needs to be created. And the last topic I noted down was talking about the 360 camera that OSM UK used to rent out for a small fee you would get for a couple of months to walk around with and add imagery.
Next stop is Dundee.
Add imagery to the sites like Mapillary or is it Carter View. Now that program doesn't exist for 360 cameras anymore. I think that's because the software doesn't work anymore, and it needs to connect with software on your phone. It's not been updated, doesn't work with phones bought in the last 5 years, so it's no good. There was discussion, there's an Insta360 one, but it seems like the next version they're waiting to release will be better. I don't know. Would it work for mapping? Is video better? I'm not an expert. Some other people chatted about that, and it sounds like they're waiting. I did say if there is a good camera that's good for mapping, I think maybe the UK organisation could buy another one. They might be able to find some funds for that and do a similar scheme, renting it out with information on how to do that. But anyway, that's the topics we discussed at February's pub meetup of OpenStreetMap Edinburgh. People travelled, well, at least they're the topics I heard. Sometimes we split into two conversations, and I was the first to leave, mainly because I had to get the train. But yeah, I think I was there for sort of 2.5 hours, almost free. You could just come for an hour or for half an hour if you want. And we didn't advertise that on OSM Cal, but hey, I'll message the guys and say we should try and get a date in for the end of March, so some people can come. And that's all it is. Great. Almost at Dundee, so I'll say goodbye and hopefully get home soon.